Hello everyone, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So today I'm doing Pan Those Eyeshadows update number 3. I think it's number 3. So anyway, I am here to share with you guys my updates. Which ones did I hit pan on? Which ones have I not? Which ones have I hit my goal on? So that's what I'm doing today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did a whole get ready with me with what I'm wearing on my face. If you are interested, I will link that down below with Sunday's video. Let me scoot on over. But before we get into the video, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name's Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of project pan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us. And now without further ado, let's get on with the update. Now, first and foremost, I hope everyone's doing well, sticking to their rules, not going outside, social distancing yourselves. I mentioned this already in Sunday's video, but if you guys want to join in on my daily question of the day, basically, where I share with you guys what is going on with me and share other people's responses to my question of the day, obviously without compromising your identity, so nobody knows who mentioned what, but I am having fun with that, and it seems like a lot of you guys are also. So if you want to distract yourselves a little bit, at least for the day, come follow me on my Insta stories and you guys can check it all out there and see everyone else's responses as well to my questions. So obviously here we have 5 eyeshadows that I chose. Out of the 5, 1 is a single. My goal is to hit pan, or after 30 uses, I have the option of rolling the shadow out. So I have 5 shadows here today that I want to share with you guys. Let's get on with it. All right, so let's start out with my Winterberry palette. This palette I had chosen the Mauve Frost shade. This was brand new when I first brought it into this project pan, and I will share with you guys all up close as best as I can. So here is where we stand with this shadow. So it has a really nice dent to it, as you guys can see. I have been using it quite a bit on thy eyes. This shadow is more of a topper for me at this point, and I do understand why, because the shadows in these Coastal Scents things that I have are a lot older. They're, I think, my oldest pressed shadows that I do own. So they're quite a few years old. So they're not performing as well as they used to in the beginning, but it has been working well as a layering eyeshadow. I really have to pack it on, but if I mix it with other shadows in this project pan or other palettes that I've chosen to go along with these eyeshadows, it's worked great. I have yet to hit pan on it, and I've only used it 8 times to get to this point. So we're getting there. I'm making progress, but we haven't hit either goal yet to roll this out. Now let's move on to the next shadow that we have. This is the Trance color by Tarte, and this is the second round that it has been in. So I had a nice dip going on in the last update. This was brand new when we first started out 2 months ago. So far, I have used this eyeshadow 16 times, and as you guys can see, I have a really nice dip in this shadow, but I have yet to hit pan on it. These eyeshadows are very, very thick and dense, and you do not need a lot of product to make a look. As I've gotten deeper into the pan, the shadow has become even more saturated in color and pigmented. I just barely graze over it, and look how pigmented that is. In the beginning, it's a lot easier to kind of like, you know, shuffle into there and get some pigment, but right now I'm getting plenty of pigment. I've been mixing this shadow alongside this one, and it has given me this beautiful cool toned type of shadow with a pink shift to it. I really like it. So I have not hit pan on it. I still have about 14 more uses for me to officially roll this out if I do not hit pan. So this is still staying in here. I have not hit pan on it. We will see, you guys. I'm getting there. I'm still loving the shadow, so I'm not even hating on it, but I do want to roll it out because it is a cooler toned, even though I've been able to manipulate the undertone of it. So we still have these 2 shadows in the running. Now let's move on to the shadow that has been here since day 1, and that is my single shadow by Sugar Pill in the shade Taco. So this shadow, you guys saw that I had a dip in the beginning, and now I have an even bigger dip, but you guys, there is no visible pan on this sucker, but I have hit my 30 uses, so I'm very excited. These are worth every penny if you go through shadow like crazy. This is such a deep pan, it's ridiculous. You're getting 3.6 grams of shadow in here. I will never go through this in my lifetime. Look how big this thing is. So I'm happy to say that I have hit my 30 uses, so I am going to be rolling this out. I will not continue to use this to hit pan. It's not a shadow that I really need or that I care to have. If anything, this was a good shade in the wintertime. Now that we're in spring, I want to have something different to use than a white shadow. So this is the first shade that I will be rolling out, which means I get to roll in another single shadow. The next one that I had is my Japonesque brown eyeshadow. This did not have a name. When you saw from the last update, I did have a nice dip in it. I could see that the dome was going down and I was getting closer to hitting the waffle pan. Now when you see this shadow, you can clearly see that there is a nice dip in here. It does not look like any of the shadows in the actual palette. And you can see that I have visibly a nice dip. It's like you could fit my finger in there. This was a really, really good shadow to use. I used this every single time I did my makeup. It was a neutral color brown, so I went with cool tone or went with warm tone. And I have hit my goal of hitting this and using it 30 times. So you guys can see there is no pan in here yet, but I have used it for 30 times, so now I will be rolling this one out as well. I gave it my due diligence, I gave it my time and energy, and this palette with that shadow in there, you can tell that it was loved, so I'm not hating on that. So that's the second eyeshadow that will be rolling out here. Even though I did not hit pan, you guys, I still met my goal of using it 30 times, those shadows. Now the last one was one that we rolled in last time. That was the Laura Mercier Vanilla Nut shade. When we first rolled this in, this palette was brand new. There was no visible dips. It had maybe a week's worth of use out of this palette. Yes, I know. And now you guys, I was shocked that I actually hit pan on this one. So here, as you guys can clearly see, it is a nice pan on here. My goal was not to hit pan on this right away. I did not expect it. I had another single shadow that I am panning in a different project pan that I was using to set my primer. So I gave that one a break to use this one. And I did not honestly think that I would hit pan that fast. I only used this 12 times and I was able to hit pan on it. One of you guys called it, Miss Rebecca, the lipstick panning queen. She called it. She said I would hit pan on it. I guess because I was very naive, due to the fact that I'm panning that single shadow and I was, setting my lids with it. That one took me close to 45 uses to hit pan, and this one only took me 12. So I was expecting the same type of time frame to use and hit pan on it. But then I thought about it, Alex, that was a single that has a lot more product than this one. These don't have that much product in it, but I didn't think it was that little. When I hit pan, I really was shocked. I wish I would have recorded my face because I was like, what? Already pan? I was shocked. So we did have at least one pan this month that I am rolling out. So technically I have 3 shadows that I'm rolling out, and one of them actually having pan, the other 2 being used 30 times. So because we have rolled out 2 palette eyeshadows, I'm going to roll in 2. So we're going to do that right now. So let's see what 2 brands we will be pulling out of. The first one is Smashbox and Violet Voss. All right, Smashbox and Violet Voss. I think I can remember that. And now for my singles, we are going to go into my single pans. And let's see what single I will be rolling in for this time. Ooh, from Prestige. All right, you guys. So I will be right back. I'm going to pull out the palettes, and then we're going to randomize which shade in those palettes we'll be using, as well as the single. All right, you guys, so for the first one, which was Smashbox, I decided to go with my Smashbox Full Exposure palette. This is a very neutral palette, but it is one of my oldest ones in my collection. I figured this will go well since I'm crossing my fingers I can get a neutral transition shade out of it. So there's 14 shades, as you guys know. I am not panning any blacks, and there's only one neutral transition shade allowed. Other than that, anything else goes. So there is 14 shades, so let's randomize. Oh my Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it would be this one right over here. And that is like a grayish type of shade. This, no. All right. I have to use this 30 times or hit pan on that sucker. So that is the first shade that we are trying to pan. Now Violet Voss, I decided to go with the Fruit Sorbet. We needed a little bit of color in this whole entire project pan. So I thought this would be perfect. They're small enough for me to handle them. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 shades in each. So let's do it there. And let's randomize going across as always. Yes! Here we go, which would be this one. I always go across, which is this bright green shade. Holy moly, finally. Look at that. And then for our Prestige shadows, I only have 2. And that's this one right here and this one. These two, they're both depotted in here. They were single shadows that I had that I just wanted to make room in my collection. These are all single shadows that I depotted and put together. This is called my miscellaneous palette. This is also in my palettes, but they're singles as well. So it's between 1 and 2. So let's see. 1, which is this one right up here, which is like a grayish, like a gray tone shade. So you guys can see there. It's a pretty shade. It's like a taupey brown. It shifts. I don't know. Can you tell? Like it's gray, red, green. So that should be fun to use as well. So I am going to share with you guys from day 1 all the way until now, color combination that I'm working on. This is going to be an interesting month, let me just tell you. Now that you've seen my color combination, let's try to see what I can do. I have a feeling that these two will be gone next month. There is no way that these can be staying in here any longer, solely because this one's almost hitting the 30 mark, and this one I have a feeling I'll hit pan on. As far as the other shades, these are going to be pretty tough. I think the green one's I'm gonna have a blast with this green one. These two are going to be my hard ones, because this is like a grayish tone. I'm going to have to figure out how to make this one work now that it is springtime, and I'm trying to, get more color into my looks. The other thing I want you guys know is that in the summertime I tend to use less eyeshadow, more bold eyes. So I have a feeling that once summer hits, I'm crossing my fingers, I don't slow down, but I tend to slow down a little bit more when it comes to the eyeshadows and do stuff like this just to keep it nice and fresh. But I'm going to try to maintain my stamina and try to share with you guys more pans, because I do at least want to hit 12 eyeshadows of pan this year, once a month, one time a month. And so far I've been doing really good with that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will linger right over here on more videos for your enjoyment while you're at home chilling, relaxing, snacking. Until then, bye.